Welcome, everybody, to the Sonoma Spiel. My name is Tim. It's such a lovely day in Sonoma. The hills are green. The sheep are out in the fields. There's mustard growing. Everything's amazing. Lots going on. But today, listeners, we have a very special guest. And I know I say today I have a very special guest every week, but this time I have a very special guest. And that is Sheana Davis, Epicurean Connection. Sheana, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic today.
Fantastic.
I just drove by the Montini Ranch, and there's baby little calves out there.
There's little sheeps, there's little calves, there's little goats everywhere.
And there's baby water buffalo on Arnold Drive.
Okay, so we were talking about the water buffalo. Last week, I asked our guest Michelle Heston from the Fairmont, because someone else asked us, why are there water buffalo on Arnold Drive? What's going on? What's the story?
So the owner of the water buffalo lost her ranch in Tamales.
Okay.
And so the ranch here in Sonoma has offered her graciously the property to house her buffalo. So she's currently looking for a home for her water buffalo and to make her cheese.
To make the cheese. And so these water buffalo, it's like I guess the Airbnb for water buffalo up here in Sonoma, licensed and allowed. So they're up there just living their best life in a field somewhere. I don't know enough about water buffalo. I have been to Asia, and there was a water buffalo that was the kind that they would sort of use as a tractor in the rice fields in the Philippines and Vietnam. Is this the same animal, you think, or is it a different animal?
Same animal.
It's the same kind of animal. It's an actual huge buffalo that you could use as a beast of burden or a draft horse and
get milk.
Really?
And which is, for a small community, that's a big deal.
Right.
To have a working animal that can garden or farm your farm.
Yes.
And feed your family is a huge deal.
Yeah.
They're like gold.
They are huge, and they're tractors, and they're sources of food when I lived in the Caribbean, and one would move on, it would become stew, and everyone would eat it.
I mean, they're considered definitely a golden charm to your family.
You're
considered well-to-do if you have one.
Right. Wow.
Here in America, there's only a couple water milk producers, buffalo water producers, and Craig Ramini passed away, and this is his wife trying to keep this business afloat.
Okay.
And so she's currently looking for a barn ranch location anywhere in Sonoma County
to raise these
animals and potentially build or have a trailer type cheesemaking facility, because she makes beautiful buffalo water mozzarella.
And can you currently buy the Ramini mozzarella someplace, or is it only like through third party or something like that? Like I can't find it at the store right now.
No, there's limited based on how much she can make.
Got it. Okay.
So it's going to like Delfino restaurant in the city, where Craig can buy it all for one stop, and that's much easier for her.
Right. You want one big sale, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is weird, because now you just randomly brought up milk and cheese and stuff. So, Sheana, do you have some sort of experience in this? Like, who are you? What is your background? What are you doing?
My background is culinary and ag cheese, dairy.
Okay.
I'm a Santa Rosa Junior College graduate.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Go Bear Cubs.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
And so I had signed up for the ag program, ag dairy, during high school to go, and I got a full scholarship from the Exchange Bank, the Doyle.
Oh, the Doyle scholarship, very good.
And then they canceled the ag department.
Oh.
At that time.
Congratulations, you got a scholarship. However, right.
And so I could either have gone viticulture, which was what was taking over the agriculture.
Oh, right, okay.
Or you could go culinary, so I chose culinary.
I did not. But where'd you grow up?
Right here in Sonoma Valley, born at Sonoma Hospital.
What?
Went to El Verano, Altamira, Sonoma High.
Oh, go Dragons. You're like local.
I am.
You are super local.
My parents live on Leveroni. I live on Donald. Like, I don't know how much more local you can get.
I know. I think your husband's from here too, if I recall.
Yes.
Wow, you're deep. All right.
Like my granddad was the chef at Paul's Resort.
Oh, in the springs, right? Yeah. That was interesting, because Michelle we were talking about the springs and how the Fairmont was all these different resorts and things that were up there, and the transitions that have happened. And wow, so that was your grandfather worked up there. Okay.
So him and Paul were in Pearl Harbor, Korean War, Korean. Mm-hmm. And that they promised if they got out together, they would stay together. Not like as a couple, but...
Of course, right. Or not, but yeah, so they came up
they
here.
Choose.
Right.
But they both got married, and they both lived at 175 Verano Avenue.
That's fantastic.
For eternity.
Wow.
And they had one more friend, Buff, who was in the same situation. So Buff played violin. And so the three of them, and all of my kid memories are going around foraging with them because he was a chef.
Okay.
And somehow the four of us fit in a little Chevy Blue Love. Remember those?
Was that a little tiny Chevy sedan?
The 5-stick. So
Okay,
I would
okay.
sit on the middle man's lap,
Right.
doing the shift stick.
Of course, because why have car seats back then?
No reason whatsoever. and in those days, though, it reminds me of what I do today. We drove out and got the meat. We drove
Right.
out and got the cheese.
Okay.
We drove out and got the produce.
Right.
And by the time we got back to the resort, the back of the truck was packed with food.
So you were like the early, not like Cisco exactly, but like a purveyor of food, but local and fresh, and you would just go and bring it to Paul's Resort, and then your grandfather would cook it.
Yeah, my granddad would drive us all around, and
Okay.
it was always the three of them and me.
Okay.
And on Fridays, at Altamira School, I was that embarrassing kid. The three of them would bring me hot lunch, and not talking like hot, boring
Right.
school lunch,
Right.
but like real lunch.
They would bring you food at school?
And they would eat lunch with me at the Altamira sign.
Get out of here.
And some kids made fun of me that she eats lunch with her grandpa.
Oh,
every
look at that.
Friday.
She
And
gets
I'm-
like ravioli and like really good food.
Right,
or
I'm like,
whatever.
do you know the food they bring me?
Enjoy your warmed up hot dog. I'm getting something real.
Right, it was great.
Wait, so because you're a cheesemaker now, right? You make
I'm
cheese.
a cheesemaker and a chef, so cheesemaking. I make 3 cheeses currently.
Okay.
The creme de fromage, which I brought for you today.
Yes, I got a little for people watching. I have a little bag.
Swag.
Right here. I'm excited about this. The creme. What's it called? Creme de fromage.
Creme de fromage, and we're entirely sold out, Tim. So that is the last.
Oh, I'm not going to sell this though. This one's for me only, people. So stop bidding on this. No, really? Is this right here? Creme de fromage.
That is the last creme de fromage container until Thursday.
Okay.
We make more on Monday, but we sold out this week.
And you make this at your place.
We make this at a cheese plant in
What's your
Berkeley.
plant? Oh, really? Okay, good.
We're in a co-op.
Okay,
And
very
it's an
good.
awesome co-op. I've been there 16 years.
Oh, okay.
I'm still the newest member. I am the white lady. I'm the white person and the lady person.
This reminds me of the Farms in Berkeley commercial. Remember Farms in
It
Berkeley?
is an old Berkeley Farms.
Is it really an old
Yes.
plant there? Okay,
Yes.
so that's because Berkeley is very urbanized now, but I imagine it used to have, at one time there were farms around it that
Yeah.
would serve, the East Bay and San Francisco and stuff. So you make, so creme de fromage, and then what's this looking stuff right here?
That is a honey orange blossom marmalade.
Oh, wow.
That you're going to serve with your cheese on a good bread you'll pick up at Oliver's tonight.
Oh, well done.
And because
Love it.
you're lucky you have an Oliver's, but
do,
the honey
yeah.
orange blossom marmalade, great on pancakes in the morning or waffles
okay,
or
good.
crepes.
Okay.
I also make a Chinese style chicken.
Oh, good
I chunk
call.
up the chicken, saute it, and then just stir fry it with a little bit of the honey orange blossom.
Okay.
And it's like the delicious orange chicken we all want to say we don't like at Panda Express.
Okay, my kids love that stuff. I'm like, you guys know how terrible, it's like that stuff's terrible. As far as like what's in it, but it's delicious. And you're absolutely right. No one should like it. It's like McDonald's fries. You shouldn't like it. And yet there you are, just eating them warm and hot.
So you
It's
could try this
delicious.
on your kids.
Okay.
Just a little sprinkle of soy sauce and some
Okay.
good rice, and
You're good to go, huh? Mm-hmm. Thank you. This is
welcome.
amazing. So, Sheana, because you have a shop that people can buy this stuff at, right?
we do. We have a retail shop out on 8th Street East here in Sonoma.
Okay.
19670 8th Street East in the Sonoma Industrial Park. Most
Okay.
people know the park as where the antique ladies are.
Okay.
There's 4 antique ladies up front.
There is. That's why I know when to turn.
And
The
it's a great
antiques
way to
outside.
describe
Right.
to most locals where we're
Right.
at. And it's Sonoma Industrial Park, and nobody ever sees the sign.
Right. No, the signage is not great
No.
for that.
But we're the 4th building back, and we have a purple awning, and that usually sets us aside.
And people know, I think on Fridays, you're open for people to just drop in and go to the shop.
Fridays
right?
and Saturdays from 9
Saturdays.
to 12.
Okay.
And we're open for prepared foods to go. This week we had a Sonoma-grown potatoes, leeks, and garlic cream soup.
Ooh, nice.
And then we had a trio of cauliflower, all Sonoma-grown,
Okay.
with a pasta salad with caramelized leeks, shallots, and onions.
Okay.
And that could be so. What I try to make a dish in this wacky weather we have right now. Sunny, rainy, sunny, rainy. I can't.
All of the above.
Do I have sandbags? Do I open the window? I can't decide. So I always try and make a
Right.
dish in the last. Actually, to have a dish that you could either eat you could run in, Tim, buy it and eat as a pasta salad on your drive home.
Right, right.
Or you could take it home and heat it up.
Right, which I've done. Both.
And but I always try to have
I've
a dish
also
like
eaten
that.
it in the parking lot in your little spot there because the food is so good. And the salad, especially I like in the summer, you have these really good like fresh vegetables there, and the farmers are dropping stuff. I mean, all the time they are. But yeah, like a really good pasta salad, and it's.
I was
so
surely
good.
hoping that all those farmers showed up today when Senator Dodds was there.
Yeah, so
because
Senator Dodd was that we had our state senator was there, and he was making. They learn how to make cheese, or what were they
he
doing?
learned how to make cheese. Him and his entire team.
So tell me about this. How do if I want to learn how to make cheese, like what does that entail? Do I have to go out and get the cow and stuff stuff like that, or just show up to your shop?
You could buy a cow and take it home and learn to milk
I
it.
go on YouTube and like, okay, honey, what do I do now?
But it's a lot easier to go to the store and buy some Clover Stornetta milk or some Strauss Family Creamery milk.
And then what do I do? But you have a class, right?
We teach the class every Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 12 o'clock and 3:30.
And explain to me what you do. How does that work?
Each station, how you register. So if you and your friend registered, you two would be at your own table.
Okay.
And we're kind of sticking to post-COVID regulations. We actually kind of grew fond of the COVID regulations in the sense that our classes are smaller.
Good. Okay.
And how you register your group is how you're stationed. So that way it's your cheese. Nobody else has touched it.
Okay, good. Okay.
Because in the olden days, like remember when we did your volunteer class and there was maybe 40 of us, hands in the pot.
At the community center, yeah.
It was fun. It was a great fun time.
Right.
But I look back at that now and there's no way you could talk me into doing that.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Different times. So now I'm at my own station. I'm there at the Epicurean Connection out there on 8th Street East. And I've got a little burner, right? And
I have you set up with a butane burner.
Okay.
They're commercial, and we have you set up with a Le Creuset pot.
Oh, nice.
A 1 gallon milk, 4 quarts of cream. So you pour your 1 gallon of milk in and your 1 quart of cream.
Okay.
And you light the flame to medium, which is, I say, 9 o'clock.
Okay, good.
And then cover it. And then it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes to heat up to 200 degrees.
Okay.
And at 200 degrees, if your milk boils over, you did not ruin it.
Oh, no, okay.
You simply pasteurized your milk.
Oh, well done.
So
I'm amazing. Good, okay.
It's a skill. I mean, people get paid to pasteurize milk. So
well done. So don't worry, kid. You just learned how to pasteurize milk.
So what I recommend is you pour the milk out into another vessel, clean your pot out in case it's scalded.
Oh, okay.
And then pour your milk back in and just bring it back to 200.
Okay.
And continue on.
Okay.
So now you turn your flame off at 200 degrees. And if you have a hot old stove, like I have a cast iron stove at home, remove it to another station that's cool because
it won't retain the heat.
The cast iron one is going to continue to be warm for the next hour.
Right.
So I move it over or off that hot plate.
Right.
And I add in 2 teaspoons of kosher salt.
Okay.
And then 2 cups of distilled white vinegar.
Okay.
Give it a stir with a whisk or a spatula.
Right.
And then I take my cheese ladle and gently take the surface and lift up horizontally and lay in the colander. And now you have cheese foam over here.
Okay.
We cover the lid, set our old-fashioned timers for 10 minutes, and then you go taste your cheese foam. And it's a dish that they serve it like per se in the French Laundry. They take these little pearl spoons and they cover it with creme de fromage and then they put caviar on it and that's your amuse-bouche.
Oh, so you can be like super fancy and go to French Laundry, or you be super smart and go to Epicurean Connection and learn how to make
I could save you money.
I love it. All right, so I have what did you call it? The cheese foam?
Cheese foam.
Cheese foam. Okay.
And there's been some great articles in the New York Times about cheese foam. And anyone who's listening, just Google it. I can't tell you the story because I will not be able to quit giggling.
Okay.
But Google cheese foam.
Cheese foam.
And you will be entertained.
Okay.
So, and thankfully it was not about my cheese foam. It was about somebody else's
cheese foam.
Phew. It was about foam and food. Foaming and food.
Oh, the foams were such a trend. Remember the foams and the gels?
But the article's epic.
It was good? All right, I'll read that. Okay.
So now you have the cheese foam that you can make little spoons. Wipe them clean with your finger.
Right.
I serve it with lemon zest and peppers and amuse-bouche.
Okay.
If I'm having a dinner party. You know, if you want to, you could put fresh peach or fresh berry.
Okay.
Sprinkle if you're gonna have minestrone soup. Do the little spoon. First bite, sprinkle some Italian seasoning. So your first bite is taste of cheese, and then you've crumbled some cheese on top of your soup.
Okay, it transitions right into the soup.
Yeah, so it's like your amuse-bouche.
So is cheese foam cheese?
Cheese foam is cheese firming. Cheese foam is forming into a cheese curd.
Oh, okay.
So the curd is what's forming firm up to make cheese. So cheese foam, you only have about 1 minute of cheese foam.
Okay.
So you got to scoop it.
So when you're making this stuff, what's still in the pot? Is there
in the pot
something left?
Is the whole gallon of milk, the cream, the vinegar, and the salt is all enclosed with the lid on and no peeking.
Don't look. For how long? 10 minutes?
10 minutes, but no peeking. If you peek, you lose 25% yield.
Okay. Wow. That's
a significant amount.
That is. Okay.
And just imagine all the curds, the fat, the protein's rising to the top, and the whey and the low-fat milk is sinking to the bottom.
Okay. That's curds and whey. Eating curds and whey.
Here we are at the poems.
Okay. What happens after 10 minutes? Does it turn
10
into
minutes,
cheddar?
if you're not a STEM student, your timer still works.
Okay.
Because the STEM kids love to disassemble my timers.
You're like, kids, don't touch the timers.
Nope, I've gotten used to it, and the timer company actually sent me extras.
Good.
Because they believe in the STEM program.
Nice. Okay, good.
And the kids love
They
it.
need to change STEM to like STEM C, so cheese is in there, not just science, technology, engineering, math.
It's now
cheese.
STEAM.
Oh, STEAM. I think
They've added
arts.
art.
I think so culinary arts.
I
we'll
would
call
be
it
in the
that.
arts.
Okay, good.
I have to remember STEAM.
Okay, STEAM.
STEAM.
The STEAM kids, STEAM cheese.
But the STEAM kids are fascinated because most of them have never seen a timer that actually makes that rickety sound.
Oh, you have a manual timer, like the
Yes.
egg timer. The
Yes,
kind,
like
yeah.
time 10
They
minutes.
pull out their phones and they're like,
Their Apple phone.
Yeah, they're like, we can do this. Like,
But
no,
I
no,
tell
look
them,
at
no,
this.
we're going to use a timer, and it clicks, and they stare at it. Like,
Heads explode.
yeah. And so the first time I said, well, I mean, the kid literally was like, what is this? Like,
Wait, are these kids from the high school?
these are STEM kids from around when we teach at the 49er Foundation.
Oh, okay.
Primarily for their STEAM.
So kids all around. Okay.
Kids all around.
So you can, hold on, like, commercial. People don't have to come to the Epicurean Connection on East Street East. You can bring your shtick on the road. You can bring the cheese someplace else.
We do that frequently.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so hold on. We've now got this pot. It's been 10 minutes.
10 minutes. So now you take your cheese ladle.
I'm allowed to open the lid?
Now you can take your lid off.
Good.
No pressure.
No worries now.
So you take your ladle that you've eaten all your cheese foam off
Right.
of,
Right.
and then you gently lay it on top of the cheese curds and let it go.
Right. Oh, let it sink into it.
And it doesn't sink, and you've made cheese.
Oh, because it's solid. Right.
So
And
now you have cheese curds. So now you're gently going to scoop in at a horizontal area, lift up, resist the jiggle. No jiggling. Resist the jiggle.
Because people want to do that, don't they? They want to jiggle it.
I
It's
want
like
to
Jell-O.
jiggle.
Yeah.
I still want to jiggle 30 years later.
Don't do that.
And then you gently pour it into your cheesecloth that's laying in a colander with a bowl to catch all the whey.
Got it.
And so you just gently scoop all of your curds out.
Right.
And the more gentle you are, the higher yield you will get.
Okay.
And so once you've got most of it out, then we take the pot away from you because some people become like, I'm going to get every single ounce.
Right.
And so we pull that aside and keep you focused on your 2 to 3 pounds of cheese. And I say 2 because actually the average is 3 pounds plus.
Of cheese? From a gallon of milk?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
But sometimes we get a 2, so I feel like I want to be honest.
Right, okay.
And I don't want somebody who makes a 2-pound wheel to feel bad.
No, so we'll say we average 2.5.
There we go.
We'll go right in the middle. Okay.
So we'll average 2.5.
All right.
And so then you can either choose to make a wheel of cheese.
Okay.
So if you want to flavor it with dried spices, I recommend dried, not fresh, because the fresh parsley, basil, chives, they all turn black from the steam.
Yeah, okay.
So dried herbs of your choice. I love this oleo spice from the spice shop.
Okay.
It's like an Italian blend.
Oh, good. Okay.
You can use, I love lemon zest and black pepper.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And then stir it in. So then you take all 4 corners of your cheesecloth. You gently twist it. We're not making paneer, no squishing.
Okay.
And then you rest it in the colander.
Okay.
Drain the hot whey back into your pot.
Right.
And then put your cheese wheel in your refrigerator for 4 to 24 hours.
Okay.
And then when you have it, you'll unveil it, hopefully at a party.
Right. Ta-da!
To impress your friends.
Look what I made.
I made this cheese. And if they're not impressed, wrap it back up and take it home with you.
Yeah, because they're not your friends then. You should walk away.
Yeah, that's my rule. If they're not impressed, they don't get any.
Okay.
So you unveil this beautiful cheese, and you can drizzle olive oil, tomato season, peach season, raspberries, whatever you got. You want to use up those jams in the fridge that you know, because you have kids.
I do.
So you probably have 5 jars of jam with like a tablespoon left in each. So you take all of those jams.
Yes, it happened. Yes.
You take them all and you mix them together.
Ah, okay.
And you make a wonderful multi-flavored jam. And then you put it in the microwave for just a few seconds to like make it a little more loose.
Right.
And then you'll drizzle it over the wheel of cheese.
I love that.
And you've not only cleared 5 jars of jam out of the door of your refrigerator, but
it's so funny you mentioned, because that is so true. Everyone's got those jars of jam, jelly, and then like random hot sauces.
I'm the hot sauce hoarder.
I've got so many, and then like what's it, hoisin sauce, and like stuff you use for like certain kind of culinary cooking that you don't do a lot of.
Oyster sauce, hoisin sauce.
Exactly, fish sauce, and like so I've got so many of these like Thank you. I like this. So for the jams, at least we got a solution. What's the name of that cheese? What's it called? Just cheese?
Creme de ricotta.
Creme de ricotta. Oh, so ricotta cheese.
If I would have renamed it 30 years ago, but 30 years ago, people would recognize the word ricotta.
Right.
And by adding the creme de, I had never even been to France yet. So, but I named it. I thought it sounded sexier than ricotta. So I named it creme de ricotta.
Italian and French together.
Yeah, all together.
Creme de ricotta.
And Igvella drove him nuts.
So you worked at a cheese factory. Or cheesery? Or cheese?
I did not work for Igvella. He was my mentor. There's the Mentoring Alliance program. And I got Igvella as my mentor.
For real? So
for real.
When you were you weren't even a culinary student then. You were like
I was in 7th grade.
And Igvella, people who don't know, big name here. Literally, we have a bridge named after him just half a block away here. He was a cheesemaker.
He's world-renowned cheesemaker.
Vella Cheese. It's still there. It's on 2nd Street East. And people can walk there from the plaza. We send people there all the time. They still make cheese there. There's these big wheels.
It's still a producing plant.
And milk. I see the milk trucks come up right past my window when they go there. Did he teach you to make cheese, or you just talk about the cheese business?
So both. So he taught me all about how to make cheese. A big aspect which he was very forceful about was business, and I'm very at 14 I wasn't as appreciative, but at 53 I'm super appreciative.
Yeah, there's a lot of great chefs and poor business people out there.
And I can do QuickBooks, and I can look at my numbers, and I can cost out something. And I have my bookkeeper Brian, we call him Book of Brian, and so he'll cost everything out technically. Right. And then he'll ask me, "What do you think?" Right. And then I'm like, I don't know, 167 each, and he's like, "Darn it!" It was like 178 or something.
So, because that's the hard part about running a food business is keeping track of your food cost, and I mean your labor too. But like food costs, it'll dip into your profits real fast. So you got to be really careful with that stuff.
So I had Book of Brian for 4 years working for me, and he did his thesis on our shop.
That's amazing.
And so, but it was the common game with him and I, of how much. So
Sheana versus the spreadsheet. Who's going to win?
Totally.
I love this.
And I was so close that it drove him crazy.
So was Ig like that good at business and understanding cheese and stuff like that? And what kind of cheeses did he make?
He liked to make the dry jack, which is his signature cheese. And he also liked to make the Toma, the Italian soft cheese. That was like his go-to cheese.
And they still make those, I believe. Yeah, okay.
And then the jacks were definitely more of that era of the commodity jacks. But then he spun it and started making like rosemary jack with rosemary from grown on the property, and garlic jack and flavored jacks.
There's one called Sonoma Jack. Is that a real cheese?
It is a real cheese, and it's a real brand still. It's not owned by the Vivianis anymore, but it is still a cheese. Okay. And David Viviani does still live in town. Okay. And he does have a cheese-related product company in town now.
Oh, interesting.
He makes little cheese bites that are keto-friendly.
Oh, they're kind of like dried.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had those.
Those are David Viviani's cheese bites.
Oh, those are good. Well, there's a lot you can do with cheese.
You with your kids, you could grate some cheddar cheese. Right. And then put them in little circles, a few inches apart. Right. And then put it in the oven at 350 and bake it for like 6 to 8 minutes, and you've now made cheese crackers, and your kids will be addicted. They'd be amazed.
My son's now 18. He's old now. He just eats cheese. He just slices it and just jams it in his maw all the time. He works at the farmer's market. He makes burritos, and his boss taught him how to take melted cheese and put it on the Blackstone grill, right? And then you kind of fold it on top of the burrito and stuff. So he does this at home. I got to tell you, cooking in a farmer's market versus cooking in a kitchen are different, because when he just throws stuff on the floor at home, Mom gets a little mad. Yeah, we
had that talk yesterday with the Mentoring Alliance. We made dog biscuits yesterday with the Mentoring Alliance, and we walked them over to Pets Lifeline.
Oh, cool.
So we made little peanut butter biscuits and put little labels on them. Right. And so all the dogs that live there or adopted or walking or visiting get doggy treats from the Mentoring Alliance and the Epicurean Connection. Right. And
do you show them how to clean up the kitchen?
So there was one young man who was like wiping it, and then putting it in a towel and taking it to the garbage can. I'm like, who taught you that? He's like, my grandma said it's the only way to do it.
My kid's hired. You're like, come back to me when you're 15, kid.
But he said it was such a straight phrase. My grandma said.
Good, yeah.
And I was like, okay, so we're going to tell the whole class this.
That's great.
Because there was a couple other girls who were just like wiping it off to the floor.
Yeah, on the floor, because the floor is magical.
And so I come over and I said, so in the culinary world, because also part of this class with the Mentoring Alliance is helping them prepare to work in a restaurant, maybe as a busser. Right, kind of work their way, see if they get exposure to work if they want to do that, And so I said, in a restaurant, when you wipe it all off the floor, then someone, and it could be you, it could be me, has to come through and either vacuum it, if it's carpet, or sweep it.
Or pick up those mats first, which are heavy, and then sweep underneath.
And I said, so if you learn to wipe your table all into a pile and put it on a paper towel and throw it in the garbage, that's one less half hour that you spend mopping and sweeping. Right. And she was like, I don't want to mop and sweep. And I'm like, I bet you won't wipe your tables that way anymore.
Right, you'll be a little more respectful there and do that.
So it was a great lesson for all the kids to learn about how to wipe the tables.
That's smart. I want to transition away from this classes that you do, but just so people know, Epicurean Connection, you can take cheesemaking classes and also cooking classes.
Yes.
You are a chef. You're cooking classes stuff.
Yes.
And your husband, Ben, is there. He is the moral support. He helps cook with you. He helps keep the camera going when you and I do live Zooms. He does everything. He's amazing.
He teaches a lot, probably more than half the cheese classes now.
Okay.
He teaches most of the Thursday, Friday, Saturday classes.
He does. Okay.
And then I teach most of the corporate off-site groups.
Got it. Okay. He's a guy there. But I want to talk about, you have a new book out. You are now an author.
Yes. My daughter and I wrote a book during COVID.
Okay. We
got a grant from Sonoma County Economic Development Board.
Oh, great. Okay.
And we got another grant. So between the two of those, we were able to, I was able to then hire my daughter to help me work.
Okay.
And so we wrote a book about butter.
Butter. What's the name of the book?
Buttermonger.
Buttermonger by Sheana Davis and Sheana Davis.
Yep.
And tell me about this. I mean, I'm looking right now at an advanced copy.
Yes.
It has not come. It's going to come out. When's it coming out?
It's at the printer as we speak. So
okay.
I should have the news Wednesday. They said by next Wednesday I should know when I have books in hand.
Actual books. So they can be actual printed books.
I'm going to have printed books, and I'm going to do ebooks, and I'm going to do books on Amazon.
This is amazing.
I'm not selling the books on Amazon. I'm selling the ebooks on Amazon.
Okay, right. Yeah, so people can buy the books, though, I'm imagining here in town when they're in...
Here in Sonoma, they'll be able to buy them at our place and at Sign of the Bear.
Great. Okay, those are two fantastic
and
spots.
Laura's super excited. She's going to set up a whole butter display of...
Sign of the Bear is a really nice kitchen shop right on the Sonoma Plaza on 1st Street West.
And they do a great job. It's like, if you have a culinary purchasing problem, don't go in there. Because they have everything.
You'll go broke so fast.
But they have such great stuff. So that's where our book will be available.
Okay.
And then also at the Fairmont and the Lodge.
Oh, good. Okay. I'll have to talk to you about the visitor center. So here's my question.
And the visitor center.
See, I love it. Butters. I see there's types of butters. French butters, American butters. There's different types of butters that you talk about, and that's just like the beginning of the book. But then you get into the recipes.
We give you some history of butter.
Okay.
Then we talk about the difference of European butters and the American butters.
Okay.
And just the difference, not putting one above the other.
Right. Because
just how they're produced,
preferences and stuff like that. What I do love now is that there's so many options for butters. I think when, maybe 50 or 30 years ago, you'd go into the grocery store and there was just butter. Right. Probably Land O'Lakes, probably a major national chain of butter.
Right.
And now you can go in there, and in addition to all our local butters that we have here, right? Clover, Strauss. I'm sure there's some I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting a lot.
And don't forget that Clover makes Lucky's butters. So
they do, like a co-packer. But then there's like butters. You can get European butter if you want to try that, or Irish butter, or French butter. And they have different butter fat contents, I guess, and different tastes, and salted, unsalted. So it's the golden age of butter, Sheana.
It is the golden age of butter. And so I'm on trend, apparently. I just read an article that butter is trending this year.
Oh, it is? Okay.
And so, by the way, I refused principally to put the butter boards in my book. Those butter boards. It was all over TikTok.
Oh, so boards are a big thing. Like at first it was charcuterie, and now it's everything else.
Yeah, but
what's a butter board?
You would spread butter on a wooden board.
First you get a plank of wood. Okay.
And then you spread the butter.
Why?
And then you...
Just because. All right, keep going. Yeah.
And then you sprinkle your herbs and spices and edible flowers. And then you take chunks of bread and you wipe it through the butter and you eat it.
With like a little bit of maybe a little bit of pine or maple splinter in your tongue. I
don't get it because especially in the post-COVID days, I don't get the double dipping of...
There's a huge difference between food that's delicious and good and then food that looks interesting on TikTok to make you talk about it, which obviously we're doing.
It worked.
Right, because even a crawfish boil or like whatever, like you have a table, or like a lobster boil, they have a big table and they dump stuff, right? And it's kind of back east, people do that and whatever. There was a whole trend of like, let's make spaghetti that way. So they put down, plastic or something like that on a table, like plastic, right? And then they dump spaghetti and then spaghetti sauce and meatballs, and then people just kind of grab it in the middle. And and I could just see like, no, there's a reason, like a big bowl of spaghetti that you serve yourself from, yes, but a pile of spaghetti, and I lost my poor meatball when it rolls down the hill or whatever.
Right.
Like, that's terrible. But it looks great on TikTok, right? So just because it looks good on TikTok doesn't mean that you should do that.
So I did not.
Thank you. Well, I see. Okay, here's what I see: bacon brown sugar butter, chorizo butter, chimichurri butter, pear butter, saffron honey butter. These are all recipes where you start with butter and you mix stuff into it. Is that correct?
Correct.
You're not melting it and like cooking it or like that. It's just like a blending.
So I show you how to make butter, or you can choose to use a butter that you purchased.
Oh, so you can. This book shows me how to take milk and make butter out of it.
This book shows you how to make unsalted butter, salted butter, and cultured butter.
Cultured butter has been to a museum or something? Mm-hmm. So to make butter, I feel like Little House on the Prairie kind of thing with Laura Ingalls Wilder.
I'm not going to make you shake a mason jar for 2 hours.
So I can use a KitchenAid or something like that? Or
yep.
is it,
I have
really?
6 brand new Cuisinarts ready for the butter making station.
I can literally go home. I can pick up some milk on the way home. This whole milk, is that what I need? Or cream? Or
Cream.
And I have a mixer. I have a KitchenAid. Can that make butter? No, I need
the Cuisinart.
Like one of those things with the blades.
You need the blade. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have one of those too. Okay. Do you like that? I described my.
And I got it.
Thank you.
And do you still have your cheesecloth from your cheese class?
Okay, I was going to mention that the cheese class is so simple. Even I can do it because you and I did it, and people can find it if you want to find the YouTube. We did a live cast of it about 1.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. That was fun, by the way.
Do you still have your cheesecloth?
I do. It's in the drawer.
So you're going to use your cheesecloth to make your butter.
Why don't you call it buttercloth, Sheana?
Well, we could. We could start calling it buttercloth.
Thank you.
In butter classes, it'll be buttercloth.
Thank you. It's buttercloth. Thank you. So you use that.
So today it's going to be buttercloth.
So you get your buttercloth out.
So you're going to get a quart of cream, of whipping cream. You're going to put it in your food processor, and you're going to think it's going to explode, but it's just the right amount that doesn't.
Go right before it explodes. You have all these rules. You open the pot, 25% of your yield's gone. Go right before it explodes. Okay, good.
So
with your buttercloth.
Put it in, and it takes 6 minutes to make butter.
Oh, that's it.
So first minute,
Laura Ingalls would be really pissed off to find out that 150 years later
that you could just do it in 6 minutes. She didn't have to.
Yeah.
I still make some of the kids. When I was in Dubai, they were so rambunctious and excited, and I couldn't keep them corralled if I tried. Right. I don't know how much espresso they drank, or Coca-Colas, or what. But these kids, and they had all the best intentions. They were just like always jumping and moving, and like they couldn't stop. And so finally, I'm like, these kids are making butter in mason jars.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And they loved it. They thought it was the best thing ever.
Of course.
And I had a group of 50 young kids from around the globe.
Really?
Morocco, Pakistan, Iran.
Learning how to make butter.
South Africa.
Yeah.
And had them all in the room, and they were laughing and giggling and having the best time. And then when it turned to butter, they squealed like a little 3-year-old.
They were probably amazed. They went from liquid to solid.
Yet they were stunned.
Wait, so you don't heat it up?
No.
Look at me. What is this black magic you're doing? This is amazing.
Right? So you're buying pasteurized cream. So it's already been heated and treated.
Okay.
And so therefore, you put it in there. So for the first minute, it looks like it's starting to look like it's maybe going to be some whipped cream.
Right.
And then it turns to whipped cream. And this is where the crisis comes in. So it starts to break. So that's when I get calls.
Right.
But it's breaking down the protein to allow the whey out.
Okay.
And then so for a minute, like 3 to 4 people panic because it looks terrible.
And they call the butter doctor. Shauna, help me.
They call Shauna. What's going on? I get these pictures.
Are you going to put your phone number in the book here?
I don't think so.
Don't do that.
No.
Right.
And then at minute 5, you're like, it's starting to roll around in a ball.
Right.
And so you let it roll around for a minute till minute 6. And now you have this ball of butter, and you got to scrape some off the edges too. Okay. And a lot of the whey stays in the Cuisinart.
Okay.
You take your ball of butter and put it in a cheesecloth, in a colander, in a bowl, just like in the cheese glass.
Okay.
And then you can now choose to just let it rest on its own if you want it to look rustic and French.
Okay.
Or you can choose to take it and shape it into a wheel of butter and serve a wheel.
Okay.
Or, have some fun. Make some little cupcake-sized butters and flip them out. So, like,
those are cute.
When you go to, when you go to Bouchon, they serve you a little Bouchon of butter. You could do that fancy to your family.
I love that Sean is like, and if you want to do exactly what they do in a fancy restaurant for 1/20th the cost, you can do it, right?
You can. I tell people to freeze the butter in ice cubes.
You can freeze butter?
You can freeze butter.
Okay. I guess I do freeze butter because I have some in the freezer, but it's just the stuff I buy in the store, so... Yeah.
But so I love making butter shapes. So just look at what you already have in your pantry.
Okay.
And what shape might be fun to serve butter to your family in.
Okay, I got
and have
that.
fun with it. Like
I do have a mold that we use for Halloween. It's a brain.
yes, that would be perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for.
I got one. I found out how to make a realistic brain. You need to find. It's really hard to find. It's like peach and another kind of Jello that you can make into this mold, and it looks just like a human brain. So
that's awesome. It's going to make the best butter
ever. I'm going to do this.
So you're probably going to need to make 2 batches of butter to fill the brain.
It's a big brain.
Right, I've seen them.
Brain butter. I love this idea. I didn't even think about this. Well, Sean, I see.
Could you do a half a brain?
Well, if I only had a brain, yeah, I could do half a brain.
Then just do a half a brain and make 1 batch. Okay.
I see Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, this is fun.
You can make Girl Scout. Oh, you add Girl Scout cookies to the butter?
Yes.
Oh, and what I love is that then you have serving suggestions for what to do with the butter.
Yes.
And then pairings. So like here's like the Tagalogs, which are really good. And no, don't sue us, Girl Scouts, but that's the name of one of your cookies. And so it's like 4 ounces unsalted butter, 4 ounces Girl Scout cookie Tagalogs ground up, and then you put them in the food processor together. Mm-hmm. And then you can serve this on crepes, pancakes, waffles, French toast. And then you have pairing suggestions. Chocolate martini, Zinfandel wine, tawny port, frozen hot chocolate. Frozen hot chocolate. What the heck is that? It says frozen hot. Maybe it's hot chocolate. Maybe.
Hot chocolate or yeah.
We're still in the proof here. Anyway, so these
we have time.
Stop the presses. So you can serve these butters with different pairing suggestions. I love this. Thin mints.
And our Girl Scout is Elise Hill of La Prenda Vineyards.
Oh yeah.
And my Girl Scouts outgrew me, so I had to find a new one. So I found Elise.
Isn't it funny when you have that one kid you rely on for Thin Mints, and then one day you see him, you're like, hey, you don't come to my house anymore, and she's like, yeah, I'm 17.
I'm in college in Hawaii.
I'm like, oh, do you know anyone else selling Thin Mints?
So that's pretty much how it happened.
Yeah.
So my girls grew out of me, and they're in college.
Right.
And then luckily Elise just started selling them.
Good.
And I'm like, you're my girl.
It's almost like Amway. They got to like find someone else to replace them. So you're like, hey, before you leave the Girl Scout game, you got to find me somebody else because I need my Thin Mints.
And Elise has it down because she has 3 older brothers.
Oh yeah.
She makes them work for her. She makes them do deliveries for her.
Good.
She's the businesswoman.
She knows how to do it. Okay, I'm going to
I think there's a cute picture of her in there too.
Is there in there? I see like Herbe de Provence, Harley Farms, Chèvre butter. Harley Farms down there in Pescadero? Mm-hmm. No. Okay.
I picked some of my favorite cheeses around the country.
Oh yeah, Dumbarton Blue butter. Dumbarton
Yes.
Blue. What's that? Is that a cheese?
It's a cheddar blue cheese made in Wisconsin and Therese.
Cheddar blue cheese.
Oh my God, it's heaven.
Cheddar blue cheese.
So it's like
the mold in it?
It has the blue cheese veins and the blue cheese through it, but it's a cheddar firm enough, like a 1-year cheddar.
Okay.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorite cheeses, period.
You'll get a Gouda butter cheese, a cashew butter, crunch butter, Widmer brick cheese butter.
Oh, that's one of my favorite.
Ooh, Estero Gold.
Yes.
I love that stuff. Again,
Our local.
My son, he trades the farmer's market, and sometimes he brings home some Estero Gold from them. I'm like, good trade, son. You've done well.
Well, that's like Jedi training right there.
It's cocktail butters with a gin gimlet butter. What does that mean? What is?
You can use the ingredients and make a butter, and then pair it with, if you're gonna have dinner, make a pasta with that butter.
Okay.
And serve it with the cocktail.
Oh yeah, and there's actually gin and vodka and vermouth and the whole thing. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Sheana, this is amazing. Why did you do a butter book? Why butter? Why now?
So I've been playing around with making this butter class.
Okay.
And my friend Linda Trotta is a winemaker at a winery called Bread and Butter.
Oh, okay.
But I've known Linda for nearly 30 years when she was at Gunlick Bundshoe.
Okay.
And her wife Suzanne is a winemaker at Chateau St. Jean.
Oh, okay.
And so I've known them, and I catered their wedding, and I catered their citizenship party.
Oh, wow.
It was super fun. So they're longtime friends.
Okay, very good.
And so I called Linda, or rather Linda called me precisely and says, hey, I'm working at a winery called Bread and Butter, and I think you're just what we need.
Right.
I'm like, well, what are you going to do? And she's like, I want you to make me 12 butters that pair 12 of my wines. I want to buy the recipes, and that's what we're going to use on our recipe cards for our wine club.
Got it.
And so to narrow it down to the 12 wine or butters that Linda wanted, it made me make like 48.
Right.
Because
you got to try them all so you can find what you're going to land on. Okay.
And so we sold her those, and we did our agreement, and we had a great time. And
Right.
we made little videos. There's videos on YouTube with Linda Trott and I doing butter.
Okay.
They'll be on our website soon on buttermonger.com.
Okay. Buttermonger.com. Very good. Okay.
And so you'll see Linda and I making butter together, pairing it with wine.
Because butter is used as a description often for Chardonnay.
Yes.
Or diacetyl, like that kind of buttery mouthfeel.
Yes.
So it's kind of funny that they wanted to pair wine with butters.
And then what was fun is we picked a different bread. And so I found myself going to shop like outside of where I shop. Like
Right.
I shop Lucky's and Sonoma Market. That's like
Right.
the two closest places,
Right.
depending on what Seafood, Sonoma
Across
Market.
the street from each other, right?
Basics at Lucky's.
Right.
And otherwise I get a CSA food delivery of vegetables.
Okay.
And so, but to look at breads, I was like, well, what do people eat? I'm like, I eat sourdough.
Yeah.
And like I eat multigrain, and sometimes I buy that Dave's bread.
Oh, Dave's Killer Bread?
Yeah, I like that one.
That's pretty good for sandwiches. You want like a good sandwich bread or good toast bread?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're out of San Francisco. I remember they're out of, but yeah, that's
They're
good.
Bay Area.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
And so, so I take myself on field trips when I'm hired for research and development because they also, these particular bread and butter wines, I wouldn't say, it's not their premium level.
Okay, right.
It's their entry level.
Right.
So they want these wines to be at the ends of CVS's and Walmart's.
The approachable end cap wines.
End cap wines, volume.
Right.
And
eye level,
gotta have it.
Right.
So that made me go on a whole adventure. So I went to Walmart and I felt like I was a stalker because I was like looking in people's grocery baskets.
You do that because when you're a cook or a chef, right? You kind of see how people eat, right?
Oh, totally.
And this is the problem with shopping in wine country. Like when I go buy wine at the grocery store, you're going to run into a winemaker who's going to look in your cart, and you're like, "Oh, I drank your wine last week."
Night.
Yeah. So you were at Walmart peeping at people's carts and trying to see
the bread selection. I was like, "Holy moly! Look at!" So I bought like 25 different breads.
Right.
Ate a slice of each of them and then donated them to SOS.
Okay, good. Right.
But
Sonoma
I had to
overnight
taste.
Support.
Yes, our local homeless shelter, but does far more than feed the homeless. They feed our food insecure families of Sonoma.
Very good.
So it's an amazing organization. But they thought it was a great, really funny donation from me because usually it's like 5 gallons of potato leek soup.
Right. Here's a bunch of soup. You're like, here's like 20 loaves of bread with one slice missing.
One random breads. So I had to buy all the different breads because each wine and bread and butter had to have a different bread.
And you had to have bread that was probably available not just here but other places, right?
Yes,
Hence
so that's
Walmart,
why I went to Walmart.
A major retailer. So if somebody in like Des Moines who is getting into wine or something like that.
Right, so I went to the American Canyon Walmart.
Okay.
And I went to the Vallejo Target.
Good.
Because they have a grocery store.
Right.
And then Safeway is regional. So.
Right.
And then I went to a Super Save Mart.
Okay.
Super. It's out in West Santa Rosa.
Oh yeah.
It's like a big discount.
Not grocery.
Food for less.
Oh, Food for Less. Okay. There's also grocery.
Food for Less.
Yeah.
They're owned by Nugget, but they're just more of a commodity.
Right.
And so I learned how many breads are out there.
Lots.
And so, but it made it kind of fun. And Linda and I were just cracking up, tasting all these different breads.
I love this.
Tasting Hawaiian roll to a wheat bread
I love Hawaiian roll.
And it paired perfect with this pineapple jam.
A lot of sugar in Hawaiian roll. I figured that out. That's why I love them so much.
And add pineapple jam butter to it.
King's Hawaiian roll. Oh, it's so good. That's just really good.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question. What if I don't eat dairy? Can I still find any recipes in your book for butter?
There is 5 vegan recipes in the book there for you to try and enjoy.
And what are I see cashews, and that's pretty common. I'm seeing more people who, like my daughter, doesn't eat dairy. She kind of has a bad reaction to it, but cashew stuff. That's kind of cool that you have the availability, so people can learn how to do that.
Yes.
and kind of keep everyone included there. So that's cool.
I tried to make a tofu butter, and I just couldn't get a texture that was actually a butter texture.
Spreadable. Yeah.
It wasn't going to happen. I tried.
Did my best. I tried. All right, so this is called Buttermonger. This is amazing. It comes out possibly in a week-ish, and people can find out about it.
The technical release date is March 3rd.
Oh, March 3rd.
March 3rd. So because they arrived to me, then I got to get them out to the Sign of the Bear, the Visitors Bureau.
Thank you.
And the Epicurean Connection.
Other places. All right, what we're going to do is this. You're not going away yet, because now we're going to transition to talking about upcoming events that are happening in Sonoma Valley. At the end, you're going to help me answer some questions. Are you ready? And then before we leave, you're going to tell people how to order this when the time comes. So, events that are coming up. Sonoma Valley, lots of stuff happening. It's even though it's winter and it's like all of 65 degrees outside, so it's freezing out there. I know people are always like, what should we do in the winter? I'm like, oh, you can go hiking. It's really nice out here. We've got coming up on February 4th, so it's coming up soon, the band called Illegitimate AC/DC.
Have you seen them?
They are phenomenal.
Awesome.
They are good. This is Bobo Diablo, who is the name of a very special person who helps us actually get into this podcast booth. He leads this band. And he's a mild-mannered radio executive by day. And then the second he puts on the AC/DC, he goes nuts. And he's jumping off of amps. And he's
swinging his hair.
Swinging his hair. They're fantastic. They're playing February 4th at the El Verano Inn. El Verano Inn?
Yeah, El Verano Inn.
Up there on Laurel Avenue. That is actually a former house, kind of, /
It used to be a brothel.
Okay. I hear that about every building in Sonoma, though. Were there just brothels everywhere? Or,
yes. I grew up across the street from the El Verano Inn.
Oh, okay. So that's your area. Okay. Well, we'll keep that for the late night show when you tell me more about the action at the El Verano Inn. But now it's a venue, and
really nice owners,
and you can rent it out for fundraisers. You can all sorts of stuff. But AC/DC, the Illegitimate AC/DC, I put for those about to rock. Come see the North Bay's ultimate tribute to the greatest rock band ever. AC/DC, a secret pop-up surprise show. Well, you can hear it here that you won't find any information about on the internet except for right here. So one of their bandmates is going to Western Nevada, all the way to Western Nevada, probably Reno. So they're just going away for him February 4th. Yeah.
And then that's it.
For them? Mm-hmm. No, they're always around.
Okay.
You might be in the band next.
No, I can't play anything.
Doesn't matter. Do you have the desire to rock? Bob will find a place for you.
No.
Here's one. This is interesting. February 10th. This is presented by the Girl in the Fig, but it's at Jacuzzi Family Vineyards. And they're going to be showing a movie, Cinema Notte, dinner and a movie in the piazza. So at Jacuzzi Family Vineyards, south of town, when you're coming in. Beautiful building. It says, join us for a romantic evening under the stars with your special someone. You'll be welcomed with a glass of our signature bubbles, followed by dinner and a movie Italian style. Enjoy an Italian-inspired meal catered by Girl in the Fig, paired with jacuzzi wine, all while watching the classically captivating Roman Holiday, starring Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck. So that's February 10th out there.
Sounds fun.
It does sound fun. And Roman Holiday kind of popularized going around on a little Vespa. So
totally. More
people need Vespas. This is coming up at the end of February. Sonoma County Restaurant Week is back, 2023, February 20th through 26th. This is all over the valley and the county. A bunch of different restaurants. You can be a dining, like a sit-down restaurant. It can even be, they have small cafes, breakfast places now. So February 20th through the 26th. I think there's information. Just go to SonomaValley.com and click on Restaurant Week, but there'll be the information there.
It's a great week to taste restaurants that you may think about going to.
Exactly.
You haven't been.
Exactly.
You weren't sure. It's a great opportunity to go taste a multi-course meal at an affordable price.
Try them out. Thank you. So it's good. And I do love that because, I don't want to say you get in a rut, but you have these old favorites of restaurants. I love them. Right, I go to them all the time, and then at Restaurant Week, I'm like, I should go to that and give it a whirl and see what's there. So you can do it.
Restaurant Week's a great time to do that.
That's the time to do it. Shauna, are you ready for the part of the game where we get questions?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you questions that we've been getting, or people have been told me we've been getting, and then you can help me answer it. Okay. So as you know, we operate 2 visitor centers. People can also email us info@Sonoma Valley. They text us. We get all, Facebook. Everyone asks us questions. So here's one. It recently rained last month. It got in the news, and people said, did all the rain affect the vines, and how will it affect the grapes? So, serious question. Someone from, this person's from the Midwest, and did all the rain affect the vines? How will it affect the grapes? So, how would you answer that?
I think the vines are going to be fine. There's some vines that have sit in the water a little bit longer. Ned Hill would be the expert, or Jill Benziger would be an expert on that. But I think the vines are going to be fine. And I think after 3 years of drought, I think our vines, we're probably going to have a very healthy harvest.
They will. Yeah.
Based on the soil is rich and moist again.
Yep.
So I'm going to say I'm voting for high yield, high volume this year.
Good. Well, good. Yeah, and I think when people, especially who aren't from California, don't understand, in California, we get our rain typically November through about March, November through April. Any rain we do get after that is really light and passing. And our heavy storms are typically in January. If you look at the record, December, January, sometimes into February we get heavier rains, but the big ones. But a vine has 30 feet, 20 feet of roots.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere. So even you go parts like south of town here, Shelbyville, Carneros.
They're not floating away.
No, the water's moving through it, and then a day later the water's down. The vine's like, that was awesome.
It's actually, if ever anybody wants a good view after Larson has flooded, then go down and look at the mud line and be amazed.
Oh, the Larson Family Winery?
Yeah. It's fascinating.
It's right there, and people know that. The farmers are used to this. It's been happening year after year. So again, and the vines, by the way, they're dormant at this time of year. So they're sleeping. So it doesn't affect them. There's no grapes on them.
And they're just barely starting to trim them with the sunny weather, just barely.
I saw the crews out today. So they're out there doing the pruning. So, okay. Yeah, so Jill Benziger, you mentioned that. She got this question at Benziger Family Winery. Oh. Someone called, are the vines still there? And she's like, I'm sorry? Like, yes. So, okay. Here's a question for you. We get questions. Where can I find lemons in Sonoma Valley?
Well, make friends with a neighbor with a lemon tree would be my first answer.
That's exactly.
I have a standing at my takeout and education center. I have a standing. I will give you soup for a bucket of lemons.
Oh, really? I like that. Okay.
And fair is fair.
I see. I was joking because I see a bunch of signs on the side of the lemons are everywhere right now. I had the guy from Sonoma Botanical Garden, Scott Medbury, talking about their citrus exhibit that's happening up there.
Oh,
and we're
I gotta
talking
go
about,
see
it's
that.
fantastic, but it's through March. But basically right now in Northern California, everyone's citrus trees are exploding. So you literally cannot give lemons away. I mean, you can give lemons away. It's the equivalent of like zucchini in July.
Yes.
Right. So where can you find lemons? Literally walk down the street, somebody probably has in front of their house a little basket saying, please take some lemons.
I mean, pre-COVID, I would go knock on people's door when I'd see their tree.
and ask them for lemons.
Hey, I'll bring you back some jam and cheese if I could pick 30 of those lemons.
Right.
And usually they were like, oh, that'd be fantastic.
Right. They're like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
They're all yours.
And, with COVID, I didn't feel comfortable knocking on people's doors.
Right.
But now my newest approach is, what if I send them a postcard?
Oh, I like that idea.
So that's my newest
You're
approach.
the lemon lady, the lemon soup lady. Lemon for soup. Okay.
And then this one guy called me or messaged me on Facebook because I had said I was looking for lemons.
Right.
And I'm not talking 2 or 3. I'm like, I go through.
You need lemons. You're a chef. Yeah.
We need them. We use them in the cheese glass.
Right. Okay.
So we go through.
Right. Lemons.
And this guy says, oh, I live at the corner of this and that. Just pull in the driveway all the way to the back to the right and pick a tree. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
So I drive in the driveway, drive the back, and I turn, and there's like glorious, like dozen trees of Meyer lemons. I mean,
yeah.
Ben said I looked like a kid in a candy store. I couldn't decide which tree to pick off of.
Right.
There was so many options that Ben's like, one tree.
Right.
One tree this week. We'll come
Focus.
back.
Focus, Sheana.
Next week, next tree.
Right.
And so we still left with 4 bus stubs.
That's amazing.
From one tree.
And the Meyer lemon is a sweeter type of lemon, not as sour, puckery.
It's great in your water.
It's good for cooking. Yeah. See? And it's a thinner.
Less acidity.
Yeah. It's a great one.
And the zest on it is so good.
It's good for baking. I mean, we're going, look at us.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the Meyer Lemon Society. Okay, another question for you. This came on from Facebook. We will be in Sonoma from Thursday to Saturday. We have reservations at Mayo, St. Francis, and Buena Vista. We are staying near the Sonoma Square. Any recommendations for wineries and restaurants would be greatly appreciated. Thoughts on the ones we chose? Thanks in advance, Mary Ann K. So what wineries or restaurants would you?
For a restaurant, the one I always love to recommend is the Red Grape.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot go wrong with a meal, whether pizza, salad, or their specials. But what I think is really important if you're visiting Sonoma is their impressive wines by the glass.
Okay.
And so you can taste not just one.
Right.
But you can...
more than one variety you can choose from.
And because every winemaker in Sonoma eats there...
or literally has an office across the alley.
Across the way.
Yeah.
They have some of the finest selections of wines by the glass because the owners are so nice.
And it's just to be clear, it's a pizza restaurant. And I mean, it's a family style pizza / sandwich / salad place.
Right. You can get a butternut squash ravioli right now.
Right.
The short ribs are back on the menu.
It's a great place. And it's very casual. Come as you are.
I always, when people are saying we're arriving kind of late on a Friday night,
right.
It's like, don't pressure yourself to go get, the 5-star restaurant.
Right.
Like, go to the Red Grape and just relax.
Just work your way into it. And you're going to see all the locals there. Do they even take reservations? I don't even know if they do reservations.
I don't think they do.
Look at us. We're like, I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. So great.
That'd be my entryway restaurant.
Okay.
Let's see. I just had a really great meal. Where did we ate at Valley. We went we went for the LBGTQ night.
Okay. Yeah, at Valley, which is half a block away from Red Grape.
Yes, so it's on First Street West.
Right.
And they're new to town, and they're opening a second restaurant on Arnold Drive. And we enjoyed our meal, and it was nice to have some new dishes.
Yep.
It's pet friendly. Their back patio is dog friendly.
They have their own dog. They have a house dog.
Yeah. So if you're dog friendly traveling.
Yeah, it's right there.
And I like that they have a bar. So if you are traveling solo, you can sit at the bar, and that's where you meet great people.
I see. I get a cup of coffee there in the afternoon. Sometimes I see people hanging out there, just chatting with the dogs right there.
Yeah.
It's in a historic adobe building. It's beautiful.
It's a gorgeous building,
and it overlooks the plaza. So it's a neat spot. That's a good call. I can't wait for them to open. I'll have them on this podcast because I think they're opening their new spot. I don't know exactly when. It's a couple months from now, right?
A couple months.
Out there
they said probably April.
Okay.
So then that's a little more formal, as you said, at the bar.
Right.
And then I'm trying to think. I would say Cafe La Haye for like a nice formal.
Yes, good spot, classic. Saul's out there.
Saul's the owner and the proprietor, proprietor owner, but also the maitre d' of the restaurant.
Right.
And his service is just above and beyond.
It is classic. I don't want to say old style restaurant, but like classic, like Saul's there. He greets you. He's so friendly.
It's like you've been in his family.
Exactly. And he knows how to run a restaurant. Like it's like being the MC. Like he literally knows how to do it. Right. And there's a real skill to that.
There is.
There really is.
And he does it in a way, because sometimes you're at a restaurant and you see the guy walking by with his little checkbook.
Right.
Checking, are they all, oh no, they're not done with their dessert.
Right.
They got 12 minutes left on their table. Hop, hop.
Right.
Where you would never feel that from Saul.
No, and like Saul,
ever.
He's so good at it that you don't know he's doing it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
He might even come down and have a sip of wine with you.
Yeah, and you don't even know that like this guy knows how to manage this restaurant and run it, and he's great. And yeah.
So that would be my formal.
Those are good ones.
And then I had a really good casual but delicious dinner. We had a larger group in town, so we went to Plaza Bistro.
Oh yeah, how was that?
And I had a good, I had a seafood pasta that was very filled with seafood.
Okay, good.
And very fresh and delicious.
So the seafood to pasta ratio was acceptable.
The seafood to pasta ratio was very generous.
Good.
And everybody at our table, I don't want to say pleasantly surprised, but we all live here and hadn't been there in a really long time.
It's a restaurant. A lot of people overlook it because it is right there next to B&V. It's not as well known. It's well known, but it's like maybe it's too well known. Is that the right word?
I think so, because the owner, he is also like Saul. He walks the room.
Right, he's always there.
He knows what people are doing. He's keeping tabs on every move.
Yeah. Okay.
I've seen him jump in the kitchen and cook.
Right.
I mean, Martine is a really good guy.
Yeah.
And so we each ordered something different. We ordered appetizers.
Do the whole thing, huh?
Everybody, my two friends can't ever agree on the same wine, so they order wines by the glass.
That's actually important. I mean, I know if you order a bottle, oftentimes it's if you're going to drink, more than one glass, that's the more economical choice to make and smarter choice. But having a lot of wines by the glass allows you to try different things. Also the advantage. And if like some people don't like white wines, they'll just stick with the reds, right? So you have that advantage and to try that. But
I'm a fan of wines by the glass when you go out with a group because it's hard to get groups to agree on a wine.
I know, because I'm having duck. Okay, what are you having? I'm having fish. I'm having steak. Oh, God. Right. Okay. Every man for himself.
Exactly. That's it. Everybody's going cocktails.
All right, so Marianne, that's a good one. She also asked for some like wine tasting wineries and stuff. I was trying to think of some different ones to try out. I like La Prenda, which is by Red Grape. Yep.
They're doing fun things, and they have the frosé.
They have the frosé. So if you're coming here in the summer, that's a big thing. Do they have frosé in the winter? I wonder. But it's like a frozen rosé.
I can guarantee that.
You know for a fact. Have you been up in Glen Ellen?
Laurel Glen.
Oh yeah, Laurel Glen with Bettina up there. She's up there.
It's a great tasting room. It's really cozy.
It's near the French, the Pascal. So if you can
get some macaroons next door,
go there. You're set. And Nugget Market, Glen Ellen Market's right there, so you can get some picnic stuff.
Yeah, if you need some supplies for your hotel, your Airbnb,
it's a good spot.
It's a great stop.
Good call.
And I'm not going to overlook the hamburger at the London Lodge.
Okay, you know a lot about hamburgers. Actually, we had a question about hamburgers earlier. So that is a good hamburger.
It is a really good hamburger.
And in the studio next to us, Pat Carlin's doing his radio show, and he does music out there, I think Thursday nights or Thursday nights. So yeah, the Jack London Lodge is a great bar, a classic bar, on the banks. The wild Sonoma Creek goes rushing by. Okay, it's more of a trickle.
It was rushing this week.
It was rushing. I know, it rushes. But it's a huge deck. It's beautiful. And it's a good burger, huh? That's what you're saying.
It is a really good burger.
It's good.
Good burger, good fries.
Last time I was there, who was there with our family but Jill Benziger, so good call. So
you'll usually find a Benziger there.
You will usually. Final question. Someone asked, did you get a new website at www.sonomavalley.com? Yes, we did. We refreshed the website. Thanks for noticing. And thanks for asking. I wrote that to myself. So everybody go to SonomaValley.com.
Shauna, did you get a new website, Buttermonger?
Wait, is it Buttermonger?
In fact, I did.
Buttermonger.com? So, Shauna, I want to say you've been wonderful.
Thank you.
I do. You brought the cheese trail map here, too. I'll just give a quick shout out. Vivian Strauss started this group. They have a cheese trail. It started off being Sonoma County. Now it's all of California. And you can go see where the cheesemakers are locally. Always in Sonoma County, of course, is great. But Marin, Lake, all the way down to, I don't know, probably San Diego or something.
Make for a good road trip.
That's right. Cheese all the way. Shauna, if people want more information about your business, what's the quickest way to find it on the internet?
The Epicurean Connection. So Epicurean, EPICUREAN Connection.
Okay.
And that's our .com.
Okay.
And that's our website. And my email is my name, Sheana Davis, SHEANA Davis @gmail.com.
I like that you say that because Shauna, and everyone will spell it SHAWNA.
I might as well just spell it out.
So Sheana is how it's kind of like.
And if you Google either of those are together, and the spelling incorrectly, it still finds us.
Oh, good.
And on the bottom right corner of every single page is our contact information.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
And you can sign up for our email list if you're looking.
You have great emails. You really do, because you have recipes in there. Actually, your recipes are all over our website, the new one,
Thank you.
the SonomaValley.com. Yeah, you always give us recipes. You're always quick with that, but your emails are really good. They're informative. Not a lot of people in the food space are that successful at doing emails. So
I slacked. I had it written last night and I forgot to hit send. So this morning I woke up at like 6 o'clock.
I gotta send it. My people need me. My cheese people need me, people. All right. Well, Shauna, it's been wonderful having you here.
Tim.
Thank you so much for coming. And again, if everyone has listened this far, and of course you have, hi, Mom and Dad, please remember to subscribe. Tell your friends all about this. If you have more questions about Sonoma Valley, go to that new website, sonomavalley.com, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.